The Northwest is home to some of the most scenic lakes and rivers in the nation. The peaceful lakes of Idaho, the mighty Columbia, and one scenic river that has been a favorite for some of the world's most rich and famous. The Rogue River in southern Oregon begins its journey from a flowing stream in the Cascades. It then travels over 200 miles before finally reaching the Pacific. The last stop is Gold Beach, a small seaside community along the coastline of southern Oregon, well known for its world-class salmon and steelhead fishing. The town is also home to the state's only male boat hydrojet trips. It all began in the late 1800s when early miners and settlers to the Rogue River Canyon had no way of communicating with the outside world.
Started in 1895. They did it on a trial basis for 2 years. And 1897, they got the first contract with the government to deliver the mail from Gold Beach to Agnes, which we still do to this day. Probably one of the best bargains the government's ever had is this mail run to Agnes.
Walter Wade has been piloting these jet boats for over 30 years. The only difference is now the trip isn't just stemmed in necessity, it's also about having a lot of fun. The company offers 4 options for jet boat riders up the mighty Rogue River, beginning in early May, running through mid-October. There's the original 64-mile Postman's Run, a whitewater filled 80-mile special delivery run, and all the way up to a thrilling 100-plus mile trip up the down staircase, properly entitled Handle with Care. The 350 horsepower jet boats depart each day from the Rogue Estuary Pier in the heart of Gold Beach. Before the next group of lucky passengers embark on their wild ride up the canyon, our pilot hands out life jackets while sharing a few safety tips. Today, we're on board for the express delivery of 4-hour, 80-mile wet and wild adventure. The trip is open to riders of all ages.
Any age. I mean, had them on board anywhere from 96 years old to 10 days old. All you got to do is be here.
Along the way, our pilot points out some of the wildlife making their homes along the river. Bird watching is a favorite pastime in the area, and the region is home to at least 250 species. You may even see an eagle coming in for a late afternoon snack. Recreation on the Rogue isn't limited to just the famed mail run. Visitors from all corners of the globe visit the river to camp, fish, or raft the famed Rogue Rapids. You'd think locals like Walter might not want tourists crowding the riverbanks year after year. Well, you'd be wrong.
This is not Disneyland. This is a real thing. It's fine stuff. And it's my river, and I'm glad to share it with people.